good morning. Welcome to Matenaer On Air. Jane Matenaer, Greg Bach, Calvin Mutinoff, coming to you live from our home here at Radio Park in Racine. You can always join us, call or text at 855-752-4842. You can also leave a comment if you're watching on the live stream on Facebook, YouTube, and the platform that used to be Twitter. Many things coming up for you today. Our friend, colleague, host of Amicus, a law review, Jim Santel, will be joining us after the 9:30 news. There's a lot to talk about with Mr. Santel.
Yes.
The Trump administration has all kinds of lawsuits working its way through various courts. And there is a judge who checked in this week about the Trump administration deporting college students.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty blistering.
Gotcha.
Pretty blistering. So Jim Santel is going to join us after the 9:30 news to talk about that, among many other things. In hour number 2, Journal Sentinel sports guru J.R. Radcliffe will be here to talk all things sports. Of course, we will find out later today who the Brewers are going to face.
I can't even right now. I can't.
It's just too upsetting.
I don't want to play the Cubs because I don't want them here, and I don't want to play the Padres because Manny Machado is awful. That's what I'll just say for that moment right now.
Okay. Well, we will still find out later on today who the Brewers are going to face this coming Saturday, so stick around for that. J.R. Radcliffe with all kinds of updates coming up in hour number 2, and we will wrap up the show as we always do with This Shouldn't Be a Thing. Today it's the Lost Boys edition. It's a good one. I love this one. So stick around for that. Of course, it is underway, our multi-state Text to Win, Go for the Green and Gold contest. So here is what we need you to do. Grab your phone, open up the Civic Media app. 5, 4, 2. Okay, now
Wow.
It's open. Text in the word purple.
Oh.
Purple. Text in the word purple. Purple is the word you have to text in until 10 o'clock this morning. That gets you in the running for our daily prize. Everybody could use a little extra cash right now. $200 in cash, gold jewelry. That's our daily prize for today and tomorrow. These are the last 2 days of the contest.
That's right.
And then our grand prize, everyone is in the running for the grand prize. 2 club-level indoor seats to see Green Bay and Minnesota November 23rd at noon with a gas card to get you there and back. It's worth $1,550. So text in the word purple, Purple. Text in the word purple. Ooh, I love to see those entries. Sean from Madison and Jill and Madison and Phil and Mount Pleasant and Mary and Kenosha. Keep those coming in. Purple is the word, Purple. Again, you have until 10 o'clock, and good luck. Wanted to start off with the Wisconsin Supreme Court race. That's coming up, too.
No, and that's a spring one.
Yes.
That will be, and that's
going to be the first of it. The first, right?
It's like 6 months away now.
It's going to be here before you know it.
It's a primer, if you will.
Yeah, exactly. Appeals Court Judge Maria Lazar
Pointer
has announced she is running for a spot on the Wisconsin Supreme Court. Since her election, this is from the Wisconsin Examiner, since her election to the District 2 Court of Appeals in 2022, she has been a reliable vote for right-wing causes controlled by a 3-1 conservative majority.
And so far, now Rebecca Bradley's going, whew.
There's another me to take my place.
Yeah, because Rebecca Bradley, who is currently sitting on the Wisconsin State Supreme Court, made the announcement a few weeks ago that she will not be seeking re-election, even though it seemed that when Susan Crawford was elected, it seemed like she was moving towards there, but based on the fact that she had raised no money.
Yeah, that didn't look good.
Experts had said, she's probably not. And then she decided, which is, honestly, I mean, I don't think Maria Lazar, I'm going to say Lazar, is any real difference from Rebecca Bradley, but her election night comments were so, in my opinion, unprofessional.
Absolutely.
And, like, to say political is an understatement. It was basically listening to a Donald Trump acolyte slash acolyte. Actually, I wouldn't even go further than that. But yeah, it was shocking to me the way she was speaking. She wasn't even trying to hide her disdain for the left, period, and her colleagues. So her not being a part of this I think is a better thing for the court, but I don't know how with what Judge Lazar brings to the table with regard to her decisions and her relationships. I don't know if she's going to be much of a difference.
Well, we can look at who supports her.
Yeah. Oh, let's look at that.
Her endorsements
Yes.
include former Supreme Court Justice Michael Gableman.
Oh, you mean
You remember Mike Gableman?
soon to possibly not be lawyer anymore?
Michael Gableman recently agreed to have his law license suspended for 3 years over that debacle that, was it $2.1 million worth of taxpayer money that we paid Michael Gableman to find all the fraud in the 2020 election? None of which came to pass, by the way. They didn't find any fraud.
And Robin Voss had to say that the 2020 election was safe and secure,
Yeah,
which
that
I'm sure
had to have been really painful.
he hated doing.
I'm sure.
Still washing his mouth out with lava soap.
So Ms. Lazar has the endorsement of Michael Gableman. Jim Troupis, he's also facing criminal charges for his role in the plots to cast those fake elector votes on behalf of Donald Trump. And another supporter, Bob Spindell.
Well,
Also, a Republican member of the Wisconsin Elections Commission who cast one of those fraudulent ballots and has regularly used his job to spread conspiracy theories about elections.
because that's what you do.
Well, if you want the party endorsement, you got to go along with the party line. Good heavens, Trump brought this up when he talked to all of our military leaders the other day. He won the 2020 election. He is still ranting about that, you guys. Still.
Well, yeah, because when you're up there for that long, you don't have much to talk about. And also, I wanted to make sure, I knew this was a fact, but I want to be looking at it, and this is coming from WisPolitics as part of the press release. She was an assistant DA for then Waukesha DA Brad Schimmel. So she has, just short of going out with Daniel Kelly in high school, she has all sorts of ties to the Republican Party in the past. She also defended Act 10, the anti-union legislation that, along with 32, gutted our teachers union and no longer allows them to collectively bargain. So she defended that one as well. And
she also has a lot of support from Pro-Life Wisconsin.
Yes.
Which is dedicated to banning all abortions in the state. And I believe Pro-Life Wisconsin also wants to get rid of all forms of birth control.
Oh, of course, yeah. And
except for the rhythm method, because that's so reliable. Just ask my cousin with 5 kids.
Oh, my
anyway.
God. She also has been known to give talks to, and I can't believe it, because it's the 1900s, the Federalist Society. So, yeah.
That's still a very powerful organization.
Yes, it is. But
we can make jokes about it, but that's a.
I'm not making jokes about it. I'm just saying when I hear the Federalist Society, I also expect an old guy to tell me to get off his lawn. Like, you don't hear them talked about a lot. So yeah, she will be a expected replacement of probably Rebecca Bradley's intentions and opinions.
You can swap them out, you know. Here is what Maria Lazar said, quote, "We need to draw a line in the sand and stop the destruction of our courts, especially our state Supreme Court. We are bombarded by political ads for a judicial position." That is true. "My candidacy will be different," unquote. Oh, really?
Sure.
How will it be different? She says, "I'm not a member of a political party. My opponent spent years in the legislature." Okay.
All right.
On the other side, Taylor's campaign manager, just like Rebecca Bradley, Maria Lazar has spent her career rolling back people's rights, attacking reproductive health care and voting rights, and doing the bidding of powerful special interests, speaking of the Federalist Society, and her billionaire friends. If elected, she will become the most extreme member of the Wisconsin Supreme Court. And I just find it interesting that they need someone ideologically super far right because Hagedorn has turned out to be such an enormous disappointment to them.
I mean, Hagedorn is just doing what
It seems to kind of like follow law.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Logic, law, application of past decisions to new decisions.
Precedent.
It's just, which by the way, Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas said that precedent doesn't really matter anymore.
What a shocker there. Oh, I'm stunned.
Yeah, it's almost like they can just do
Precedent, schmecedent.
whatever they want.
Yeah, it
So,
kind of feels like that. That's something we'll be talking about with Jim Santel, I'm sure.
It's so exhausting.
If you are just joining us on Matenaer On Air, we were talking about the news that conservative Judge Maria Lazar is running for Wisconsin Supreme Court. So far, she is the only conservative to announce for the 2026 race. She used her messaging when she came out with her ad announcing her candidacy to attack District 4 Appeals Court Judge Chris Taylor, who is running with the backing of Democrats.
Mm-hmm. And I've said this before, and I'll keep saying this. I'm not a fan of this kind of election.
As far as all the money coming in?
Well, the money coming in, the fact that a judge has to take sides to get votes, that a judge has to make the most political statements without being political because these are supposed to be non-political appointments.
Right.
I would love to say, well, just let the governor appoint them. But unfortunately, we live in a day and age where that's not a good idea anymore. Either. So, I mean, who knows? Chris Taylor could win next year. And if the Republicans still control, well, they will at that point, they will still control the legislature. Maybe they'll just find a way to not even to
seat the judge.
Seat the judge. I mean, right now we're still waiting for a congresswoman to get sworn in the U.S. Congress, but they're not doing it, Jane, because they're just so busy.
No, they're not gonna swear in that Democrat in the House.
Yeah.
Because she could cast the deciding vote to release the Epstein files. And if we've learned nothing, we have learned that the Republicans really, 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 really don't want that to get released.
It's really weird because it was only like a year ago they were saying, why aren't they releasing the Epstein files right now?
We want the files.
We want the files right now. Give me the files. And now Kash Patel is saying, what do we really, guys, what do we really know about this? I mean, let's take it down a notch. Let's get some brunch.
It's fine.
Let's talk about stuff.
Other stuff.
Epstein files. I don't know who's Epstein. I don't even know. I've never heard of this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's ridiculous, and I'm tired of it. I'm tired of them, and it's so frustrating. Is there a wall, Jane, in this room I can just hit my face against for a while?
Do you want something soft? Well, we have the insulate, we have the sound panels up on this wall. You could try it. That would be less damaging. Otherwise, there's the hardwood door right behind you.
Well, let's just start for the soft paneling, go from there.
Start there
and
work
also
your way up.
And also, I know I'm sounding very dour, and so I'll just say this again. myvote.wi.gov. Find out your representatives. Let them know what you're feeling.
Make sure you're registered to vote.
Make sure you are, because the primary for the spring election will be sooner than the spring election. So you want to find out if you are still registered. Do that. myvote.wi.gov today.
Remember when the president said, I don't know anything about Project 2025, except I know there are parts in it I don't like. Guess who he's meeting with today? The author of said Project 2025, which he's never heard of. All the details coming up. Stay with us. You are listening to Matenaer On Air. This is the Civic Media Radio Network, and we will be right back.
I've seen all good people turn their heads each day, so satisfied I'm on my way. I've seen all
Good morning. Welcome back to Matenaer On Air. Jane Matenaer, Greg Bach, Calvinator on the board. Coming to you from our studio at Radio Park in Racine. You can join us. Call, text, the number is the same. 855-752-4842. Leave a comment if you're watching on the live stream on Facebook, YouTube, and what used to be Twitter. Our multi-state text-to-win contest is in its second to last day.
Penultimate.
Ooh, good word.
Penultimate.
Fancy
Jim
word for
Santel's
today.
in the waiting room right now.
Are you trying to impress
He
him?
heard me say penultimate, and I think I just got into law school.
We want, yeah, I'm sure that's just an automatic entry. Yes, our second to last day for the go for the green and gold multi-state text to win contest. So you have until 10 o'clock to get out your phone, open up the Civic Media app, text in the word purple, Purple, spelling counts. Purple, Purple, text in the word purple. You're in the running for that $200 in cash and gold jewelry. And then up for the grand prize as well. Great prize. 2 club level indoor seats to see Green Bay, Minnesota, November 23rd at noon with a gas card to get you there and back. Purple is the word Purple. Enter the word purple. By 10 o'clock, Tom Hartman will have a new word for you from 11 to 1, 11 and 1.
Yeah.
Then Todd Alba, 3 o'clock hour, Maggie Dawn, 5 p.m. hour, Pete Schwaba wraps it up at nightlight, 7 o'clock hour. So whole bunch of chances. Second last day. Get in there. Purple.
Like rain. Or
Yes.
people eater.
Oh, that. Yes, that too. Jim Santel is going to be joining us in just a little bit. Our friend and colleague and host of Amicus, a law review on Saturday mornings across the network. But we did want to share with you that President Trump, meeting with Project 2025 architect Russell Vogt.
Jane, I just want to say something really quick. I know you've been talking a lot about Project 2025 on this show.
For months.
Months, actually, probably about more than a year now.
Yeah.
I've never heard of this book. I don't know anything about. My friends have never heard of this stuff. I don't know why you insist on making such a big deal out of something that doesn't seem to be important. Why do we even pay attention to this? Was it Project 2025?
It is called Project 2025.
I feel like you're wasting our time right now.
Well, see, if you actually looked at Project 2025.
I don't read, Jane.
Well, that's okay. Take my word for it. They are already implementing many things from Project 2025.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Many things have already been done.
Yeah.
And we keep heading that way. Just as a reminder, Donald Trump claimed back when we first started talking about Project 2025, he had never heard of it, didn't know anything about it, except he knew that he didn't like parts of it. So how he didn't know anything about it and yet knew there were parts he didn't like, I have questions about that. But here is what he put on social media. President of the United States, I have a meeting today with Russ Vogt, he of Project 2025 fame, the guy you never heard of, to determine which of the many Democrat agencies, are these only Democratic? Like the EPA is a Democratic agency?
Started by Richard Nixon.
To determine which of the many Democratic agencies, most of which are a political scam, he recommends be cut, and whether or not those cuts will be temporary or permanent. I can't believe radical left Democrats gave me this unprecedented opportunity. They are not stupid people. So maybe this is their way of wanting to quietly and quickly make America great again.
Oh, my God.
So, Project 2025, President Trump is going to make America great again, is what you're saying.
Secretly.
The Project 2025 you knew nothing about, didn't have any connections with, except for the parts that you knew you didn't like, even though you never read it. But he's going to meet with them today.
And Jane, what happened was the Democrats took over, the Democrat Party took over all of these agencies long ago so they could infiltrate them. So then President Trump could come in on his first term, then get voted out by Joe Biden in 2020. That's right. He lost the election in 2020.
He did.
And then get reelected in 2024, only to come back around, allow the government to get shut down. Therefore, he and Russell Vogt, lead author of Project 2025, a book I've never heard of, can go in and shut down these agencies, which the Democrat Party secretly infiltrated years ago so they could all make it happen because we're all making America great again.
It's amazing to me. There are all kinds of people that work for the federal government.
Yes.
There are many different stripes of people.
Correct. Yes.
I don't understand this assumption that everyone who works for the federal government is a Democrat. And what they are doing is going to harm everyone, no matter how you vote.
Yes.
No matter how you vote.
Yes.
These policies and these changes and these tariffs are bad for all of us little people. Because it's us little people that it's going to harm.
Yeah.
The Russell Votes and the Tim Scotts and even Chuck Schumer, they're all going to be just fine.
They're all millionaires.
Exactly.
They're all millionaires, if not more. Yeah. This is about taking advantage of the fact that we are a people. And when I say we are the people, I don't even mean people who didn't. I mean everyone. We live in a society where news happens at such a rate that we can't keep up with everything. And sometimes you got to shrug your shoulder and say, I got work to do.
Yeah.
So I can't really pay attention to this.
And we get that.
And I understand that completely.
Yes.
And we knew that by when Charlie Kirk was tragically murdered, people were saying he seemed like a nice guy and had no idea what his real message was about because not everyone can pay attention to it all the time. And we get that. But what's frustrating is that folks who voted for Donald Trump who don't make $1 billion are going to have their services cut, are going to lose tax money. It's going to be bad.
For all of us, little people.
Yep.
News is coming up next when we return. Our friend, colleague, host of Amicus, a law review, Jim Santel, will be here. Stay with us. You're listening to Matenaer On Air on the Civic Media Radio Network.
I see all good people turn their heads each day, so satisfied I'm on my way. I've seen all good people turn their heads each day, so satisfied I'm on my way. I've seen all good people turn their heads each day, so satisfied I'm on my way.
Good morning, Jim. How do things sound?
Kelvin, I'm doing well. How about you?
I had the wrong fader up. Repeat that.
Okay, I'll say that once again. I got the sun shining through. Maybe that'll go away. Can you hear me? Yes?
Yep, you sound great, Jim.
Okay, great. I'll stay put. Thanks, Kelvin.
Yep, we come back in just over 3 minutes.
All right, thank you, 3.
morning. Welcome back to Matenaer On Air. Jane Matenaer, Greg Bach, Dr. Slide on the board, coming to you from our studio at Radio Park in Racine. Join us. Call or text at 855-752-4842. Leave a comment if you're watching on the live stream on Facebook, YouTube, and what used to be Twitter. You still have about 25 minutes to get in the word purple via the Civic Media app. Text in the word PURPLE. Purple is the word for this hour, part of our multi-state text to win. Go for the green and gold contest. 2 days left, today and tomorrow. Up for grabs today, our daily prize, $200 in cash. We could also all use a little extra money. And gold jewelry. And then the grand prize, 2 club-level indoor seats. Nice. See Green Bay in Minnesota, November 23rd at noon. A gas card to get you there and back worth $1,550. The purple is the word you have to send in until 10 o'clock, PURPLE. And then your next chance in the 11 and 1 o'clock hours with Tom Hartman, 3 o'clock hour with Todd Alba, 5 o'clock with Maggie Dawn, and then Pete Schwaber wraps it up during Night Light in the 7 o'clock hour. Multi-state, go for the green and gold. Text to win contest. Good luck. Purple is the word. He joins us every Thursday at this time to talk all things legal. Jim Santel, our friend, colleague, and host of Amicus, a law review. You can catch it Saturday mornings. I highly encourage you to listen from 9 to 11 across the network. Good morning, Jim. How are you?
Jane, Greg, good to be with you once again. And I, too, am befuddled by this Project 2025 emphasis, huh? Can't figure it out.
Never heard of it.
Right?
He never heard of it. He knew he didn't like it, parts of it, but he'd never heard of it before. And now today he seems to recognize that Russell Vogt, the head of the Office of Management and Budget, was the lead author of Project 2025. Some of us, I guess, are just slow learners, Jim.
Right. And apparently about 70% of Project 2025 has actually been implemented by a president who purports to know nothing about it. So amazing how the world works, isn't it?
Isn't it?
I don't understand what you guys are talking about, man. I've only I've only read 3 books: The Da Vinci Code. I read it again, and portions of the Bible when it fits my narrative. So I don't know. You guys can talk about whatever you want.
You'll just take our word for it, okay? Just take our word for it. A lot of things I wanted to talk to you about today, Jim. We call it the wheel of lawsuits, the wheel of litigation with the Trump administration, because there are so many different lawsuits going on. But a couple have really jumped out at me. This one from U.S. District Judge William Young, who found that the Trump administration wrongly ordered the deportation of pro-Palestinian students. Now, I believe this ties to one case in particular where a young woman had written an opinion piece in a college newsletter, never mentioned Hamas or the Palestinian people or anything like that, but they grabbed her off the street and tried to deport her. She was not deported, but the judge wrote, "Alone, I have nothing but my sense of duty. Together, we, the people of the United States, have our magnificent Constitution." The judge went on to explain why he ruled against the administration, saying, quote, "This court finds as fact and concludes as a matter of law that Secretaries Noem and Rubio and their agents and subordinates acted in concert to misuse the sweeping powers of their offices to target non-citizen pro-Palestinians for deportation, primarily on account of their First Amendment protected political speech. They did so," continues the judge, "to strike fear into similarly situated non-citizen pro-Palestinian individuals, curbing lawful speech, and intentionally denying such people the freedom of speech."
There's a lot there, isn't it? And Judge Young, again, takes his place among this increasing number of judges that we've spoken about at great length on this wonderful broadcast who are saying no, right? I think one of the great bastions, and this is a good news in an otherwise very challenging Thursday morning, you have federal district court judges appointed for life. This one happens to be appointed not by a Democrat, but a Republican. His name is Ronald Reagan. He used to be the president of the United States of America.
I've heard of him.
Yes, exactly. Even though Greg purports not to have heard of Project 2025. I suspect he has heard of Ronald Reagan, who appointed this good judge. You may recall also that this is also the judge who ran afoul of 2 Supreme Court justices who chastised him for not following their clear directions when it came to some NIH grants. And he said, you know what, I never intended to disrespect you. I just didn't know that the shadow docket, when you issue a one-line statement about what should happen here, in another case unrelated to the NIH, I didn't know I had to follow that. And then to add even more craziness to this already catastrophic series of events, you've got former Justice Breyer weighing in and saying, no, Judge Young is a good judge. How could he know? You don't know what you're doing, Supreme Court. So that's the backstory behind all this. But Judge Young, again, my other favorite piece of this is, Jane and Greg, 161 pages, okay? And you have highlighted some of the most telling language here. What's going on there? Why is he writing this? He is also, by virtue of the fact that he's spending 161 pages, also sending a message to the Supreme Court that criticized him, that seems not to be able to write more than one sentence. Here's one federal district court judge with 2 law clerks. Supreme Court justices have 4, maybe 5 of them. He spends the time on this very important First Amendment case explaining his reasons, giving justification, telling the American public why it is he's doing what he's doing, creating an appellate record if indeed this goes up. All the things that what? Let's all say it together. The Supreme Court should be doing, but it's not. And I have to believe that in and of itself, even the extensive nature of what he has written, the content first, most important, but also the fact that he spent the time coming to the conclusion that the government, once again, is in violation of the Constitution of the United States of America, implicitly saying that just because you're not a citizen doesn't mean it doesn't apply. You've got First Amendment rights, as did this petitioner, and you are wrong to deport her, to try to shut her up. Good for him. And then he also goes beyond just his ruling and says this, as you know well, he says, I fear President Trump believes the American people are so divided that today they will not stand up for, fight for, defend our most precious constitutional values, so long as they are lulled into thinking their own personal interests are not affected.
Yes.
Finishes up by saying, is he correct? That is a stunning thing for a judge to say. That is a call for action, which again, federal district court judges are generally not inclined to do. This judge, like so many others, he is angry with what has happened to the judiciary. He's angry about what's happening with our courts. And he is angry, yes, in a nonviolent way with the way our president is behaving. And he sent that message loudly and clearly.
If you're just joining us on Matenaer On Air, Jim Santel is here, our colleague here at Civic Media, host of Amicus, a law review Saturday mornings 9 to 11 across the network. You really should check out the show. It's great. The other thing that jumped out at me on this, Jim, is he included a threatening postcard that he had received at the very top of this.
Mm-hmm. Right. And
which
there
essentially
again,
said, Trump has tanks and guns. What do you got?
Yeah. And I suspect, once again, his law clerks, I'm guessing Judge Young, like me, is probably not sufficiently technologically adept to figure out how to post that in the official way that these things have got to be posted. I know that I worked for a federal judge many years ago, but he did it because he wanted to make the point, once again, that yes, number one, judges are getting threatened in America for what they're doing. And number two, is there an answer to that issue? Basically, this person who sends this scurrilous, horrific postcard saying, go ahead, enforce what you want to do, big boy. That's bullying at the highest level.
Yes,
and he
the
says,
threat.
you know what? Yeah, you know what? I do have something. And it's called integrity, and it's called the Constitution, and it is called a commitment to what America is all about. You plainly don't understand that at all. It is important that he, again, even above the case caption, that's where it shows up. He's got this thing printed in sort of a typographical format. He's making a number of much related points here, all of which should be consumed. Even if you don't read every single one of those 161 pages, it's there and it's accessible. And it's a lesson to America, right?
Yeah. But the other thing that jumped out at me about this, Jim, was because, the federal government, the goon squad now that is going out across America calling themselves ICE, and they're allowed to mask themselves ostensibly because they are getting threatened and they're being doxxed. And, well, We have judges. We have election workers. We have all kinds of people across our country who have been threatened and doxxed. Should all of our judges be hiding their identities? If that logic applies to ICE, then shouldn't this apply to our federal, or to all of our judges?
Right. And Judge
They're at
Young,
risk.
right? Absolutely. Many other judges, a whole lot more visible. Their homes are hopefully not in the public domain, although those could be inappropriately posted by people. But their federal courthouses are, with their chambers numbers on them. And we know that there have been federal judges whose families have not only been threatened. We have a judge whose son was killed at her
Yes.
own home, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
so I think the point you make, Jane, cannot be overstated. Here are judges who are willing to say the president is wrong and basically calling upon the people of the United States of America not to rise up, but to push back and say there's something more important than your own ego, Mr. President, and doing it, signing it. Here I am, and being very visible of who he is. We've got these other quasi-military and military people descending upon the cities of America, and we don't know their names. We don't know their faces. It is completely inconsistent. And frankly, even the Department of Justice that I recall, there are some very limited opportunities, yes, options where you can, in fact, mask your face. These are not those.
This
You
ain't
want
it.
transparency, right?
Yeah. Yeah, this isn't it. We don't know if the ICE guys, if they're all January 6th defendants.
Right.
They could be all Proud Boys. They could be all Oath Keepers. They could be all 3%ers. We don't know anything about these people. That's not good.
Right. It isn't.
It's dangerous.
The American people should expect more. We know also that the solicitations, including some bonuses, out to everybody across the country. Come in, we'll give you some money, and we'll give you a gun, and we'll let you parade around the streets of Chicago and Los Angeles and D.C.
We'll give you a gun, and you can go practice on people. Because that's what Donald Trump said when he addressed our military earlier, or that's what Hegseth said.
No, it's what the president said.
Well, we should be using our cities as training grounds.
Yeah.
That sounds really dangerous.
And sort of an offshoot of this, when I think of things like that, I just think of our government saying we don't have enough money to pay for X, Y, and Z. Our farmers are getting constantly screwed over for whatever, because they can, because the government's been doing that to them for decades. But yes, we can pay individuals bonuses to illegally round up individuals who should not be arrested, or, as I'm now just seeing, just beating people up in the street. So,
and manufacturing felonies. I've seen a couple of things in the last couple of days where there have been some protesters. There was a 69-year-old man who apparently moved his arm and inadvertently touched an ICE agent. A 69-year-old man shoved him to the ground, jumped on him. Now he's being charged with a felony.
Right. And again, what you've got there is complicity, right? Not only on the streets of America, but charging decisions made. Some of those, thankfully, there are still some people inside the government with some cooler minds who look at these things and say can't do it. But that, again, as you often said, it's the investigation, it's the charge that is the punishment. If in the end it doesn't result in a conviction, that's not the point. And that's not the point that the president wants to make.
We're going to continue our conversation with Jim Santel, host of Amicus, the Law Review, Saturdays 9 to 11 across the network. Keep it right here. We are the Civic Media Radio Network, and we'll be right back. Good morning. Welcome back to Matenaer On Air. Jane Matenaer, Greg Bach, resident young person Calvin on the board, coming to you live from our studio at Radio Park in Racine. Join us, call or text at 855-752-4842. Leave a comment if you're watching on the live stream on Facebook, YouTube, and what used to be Twitter. Just about 8-ish minutes left to text in the word purple, Purple. Purple is the word for our multi-state text to win. Go for the green and gold contest. You have to use the Civic Media app in order to partake. So text in the word via the app. Text in the word purple, Purple. You're in the running for our daily prize. $200 cash and gold jewelry. And then the grand prize, those great indoor club level seats to see Green Bay and Minnesota, November 23rd, noon game.
Mm-hmm.
Gas card to get you there and back.
My goodness.
I know, we're going to take care of you. Text in the word purple, Purple, and then you'll have your next chance with Tom Hartman in the 11 o'clock hour, so stick around for that. Jim Santel joins us every Thursday at this time. He is our friend and colleague and host of Amicus, a law review, Saturday mornings from 9 to 11. Listen, it is worth it.
Yes.
Absolutely. Jim, we wanted to talk a little bit about the Supreme Court begins its new term on Monday. Are they actually going to talk about things like like the public gets to hear, or are they just going to issue all shadow dockets and not have to explain anything?
And we will see, won't we, Jane? We'll see exactly. They hardly went out of business, didn't they? I think we were talking back in June about the fact that, well, now they're going to go quiet. But in fact, they've been issuing all of these executive these affirmations, I should say, of executive orders throughout so it hardly seems as if there's anything new going on. But Monday is the first Monday in October, and that means that the new Supreme Court term, it's 2025-2026, it gets underway. They do have oral arguments. Believe it or not, the Supreme Court is still doing that quaint historical thing, which is calling attorneys in, right?
That's
like
so historical.
It's like when your favorite team wears their old jersey. They're doing it retro.
Retro court. Yeah.
Right. And indeed, they're starting Monday, and this is the way it should work, which is the Supreme Court says, okay, the lower court judgments are completed. Let's review those now. Let's have briefs. Let's have the lawyers, can imagine this, let's have the lawyers write lots and lots of paper about all these things. We'll read all those. We'll have our law clerks summarize those. We'll call you in. We'll have oral argument about all this. And yes, they're starting that once again. They've got about 34, 35 cases on their docket right now. The interesting thing about that, Jane and Greg, is that by now, usually they've got maybe about 40 or more, usually, and then about 60. My guess is that they're waiting because many of these shadow docket opinions are now going to be coming back. Now that the lower courts have reduced them to judgment, it may well be, we don't know, we know some of them are already on the docket, it may well be that they're anticipating now finally reviewing the substance of these as opposed to issuing these one-sentence orders and undermining, again, the way we do it. But yes, indeed, they're back in business. It's everything. Yes, tariffs is on the schedule, right? And again, whether or not they should overturn the lower courts that have said, you can't do this, Mr. President, that'll be a fascinating one to see if John Roberts wants to once again amend the Constitution, Article 1, that says, who is responsible for tariffs? Let's
Congress.
all say it together. Congress, right?
Congress.
Right, exactly. They're the ones who do this.
That's their only job. It's the
That's
power
their
of the
only
purse.
job, right? Not to be outdone, it may be that voting rights case from Louisiana, that one that's called Calais, remember that name, Calais? And this may be the one in which the Supreme Court is dabbling with the notion, hold on, of basically finding the Voting Rights Act unconstitutional in violation of the 14th Amendment. Not making that up. We hope, of course, hoping and praying they do not do that, but it's sort of on the docket again. Voting rights, right? If you're not satisfied with that, you can find some solace, perhaps, or not solace in the fact that they're also looking at things like conversion therapy, roundly dismissed by every legitimate medical authority on the face of the planet. Can that be legislated away? That sort of thing. Also looking at, yes, transgender women in sports, transgender sports issues on the Supreme Court docket. Campaign finance is there. There's a religious case involving a prisoner who had his dreadlocks cut by his jailers, and he's alleging that that's in violation of his religious rights under a statute. Religion is back. So all kinds of things on the docket. And again, you even as I say them out loud, Jane, going back to your comments in the prior segment, you think about all these things. Yes, Supreme Court's got to resolve differences. Where is our Congress? Wouldn't you be a whole lot more satisfied if the representatives that they themselves are wrestling with these social issues? And again, 535 members of the people in our Congress, senators and House of Representatives members, are wrestling with these things instead because of Congress's default and an overwrought president who does whatever he wants. Now, policy decisions being made in America by the United States Supreme Court. That was not the design. That was not it. We'll see how that plays out again in this coming term starting on Monday.
I'm surprised Clarence Thomas can pull himself away from all his free around the world trips on fancy yachts and stuff. He's got other priorities, Jim. This is really got to cut into his vacation time.
It is annoying, and maybe he's reading Project 2025. We don't know, but we do know that he's also pontificating out there and saying things like, Jane, precedent. How that's an interesting concept.
Oh yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Maybe we should be rethinking that. This is the man who, again, in the last term, also said maybe we need to rethink the enforcement of Brown versus Board of Education. Oh my, oh my.
Yeah.
And
oh my
again,
is right.
It is a lot. It is a lot, as you often say, and we'll see what the Supreme Court delivers to us. We'll talk about every one of those, and you can also hear them argue. You actually hear the Supreme Court justices talking with the attorneys. You can go online and hear Sonia Sotomayor spar with Amy Coney Barrett and that sort of thing. And then, of course, we'll anticipate opinions very, very soon.
Join Jim Santel every Saturday, 9 to 11. The show is called Amicus, a law review. It is fantastic. Please check it out and give him a follow. Jim Santel, thank you so much, my friend. We will see you next Thursday.
Always a pleasure, Jane and Greg. Take care.
We got news coming up next, and then we are going to talk tariffs and Wisconsin farmers. You're listening to Matenaer On Air. This is the vast, statewide, countrywide. You can pick us up in New Zealand if you have the app. We are the Civic Media Radio Network. morning. Welcome to Matenaer On Air. Jane Matenaer, Greg Bach, Calvin Butenoff, coming to you live from our home here at Radio Park in Racine. Join us, call or text at 855-752-4842. You can leave a comment if you're watching in the live stream on Facebook, YouTube, and what used to be Twitter. Coming up in about 20 minutes, we're going to talk about Halloween candy prices.
Yeah.
It's Halloween time. Decorations are up. I'm seeing them all over the place when I drive into work. And a new story from TMJ4 about how much candy is costing these days. So what are you going to be giving out for trick-or-treaters?
Nothing.
Maybe cheese slices. I'm thinking about it.
You think I can afford cheese slices, Jade?
I haven't looked yet, but we'll see. Halloween candy prices coming up in a little bit. We will lighten things up for the last half an hour of the show, as we like to do. Audio sorbet today, where we take a breath and get away from the news. We're talking all things sports after 10:30 with Journal Sentinel sports guru J.R. Radcliffe. He will be here.
My stomach hurts.
I know you're all in knots about today's game because we still don't know who the Brewers are going to face on Saturday.
Yeah.
That is going to be the NLDS Game 1 set for this Saturday, October 4th. We're still waiting to find out if it's going to be the Cubs or
The Padres.
And the game will be on WRCE, WISS, WRJN, WCQM, and WBZH. But again, we're still waiting to find out who it is going to be. All right. No, neither of those are really ideal.
I'd rather play the Padres.
Just to keep the Cubs fans out of Milwaukee?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't think you're alone.
No. I know I'm not alone. I know I'm not alone.
So that is coming up, and then we're going to wrap up the show as we always do with This Shouldn't Be a Thing. Today it is the Lost Boys edition. It's a good one. Stay tuned for that. We wanted to talk about Wisconsin tariffs and Wisconsin farmers, and this is obviously a big story in the news. This is from the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel. Anna Kleiber has the byline, China is boycotting American soybeans. Wisconsin farmers will pay the price for it. Yep, big time. Katie Tur on MSNBC spoke to a soybean farmer from, I believe he is, I know you put it on here, Calvin. I'm just trying to find it. He's from Arkansas. This is Arkansas soybean farmer Scott Brown talking to Katie Tur about the news that we're going to give $20 billion to Argentina so they can keep selling their soybeans to China. Let's play that clip, please, Calvin.
You know, as a farmer, we get up one morning and you give Argentina, which is our second biggest competition in the world. They're the largest exporters of soybean meal in the world. So I get up one morning, I turn the news on, and you give $20 billion of taxpayer money to my competition. And then the Chinese buy, I think the figure is 30 or 40 containers, ships, which is about 65,000 metric tons per ship, which is like 2.2 million bushels. So they buy 12 or 14 billion dollars worth of soybeans from the Argentinians after the tax holiday. And here's the caveat to it. They give $2.30 over the November board, while I'm getting 50 cents under the November board. So that makes the Argentinian soybeans about $12.42 a bushel. I think that's the real figure they gave. So all my premium went.
Scott, I just lost you there at the end. You said your premiums go.
They all went to Argentina.
Yeah. All right. She says that don't worry. It's a time of uncertainty, Brooke Wallens does. Hang on. Relief is just around the corner. Mm-hmm. What would that relief be? Do you see it coming?
I don't know. I mean, how do you give me relief through the CCC with the government shutdown? We were going to plant canola this month. It's one of the few things we've found. It's moved into Arkansas. They're going to make renewable jet fuel and renewable diesel out of it. We've never raised any. I had to get a loan from FSA to do it because it's an uninsurable crop through the federal crop insurance. But they would let me do it through the NAP insurance. Well, I can't even get the loan for it because there's nobody at the FSA office. There's nobody at the NRCS office. We shut the government down. They all went home.
Smooth. Things are running smooth, baby. Yeah. It's all smooth as silk.
People who like this. People who like MAGA, people who like Donald Trump, people who think we're winning. What is your solution for the farmers? I want to know. I want you to tell me right now.
Well, wouldn't it just be an elegant solution if they just keep farming and give it away for nothing? That's what Ron Johnson kind of implied to our Wisconsin child care providers.
I mean, I don't.
I mean, do it for MAGA. Do it. We were told.
Do you think that's what they should do, guys?
We were told there would be 2 years of pain.
Well, we were told by Elon Musk, who's no longer around, by the way. He got to ditch. He got to run out.
After blowing a bunch of our money.
Yes. After wasting billions of dollars. I think 100 billions with a B. After losing an election he personally financed in Wisconsin, he got to go back to his companies, and now they want to pay him $1 trillion, and he's gone. So he's gone. 2 years of pain. We're going to be in decades of pain.
Yes.
And our farmers are going to suffer probably worse than anybody. They were already not well taken care of by this country, but this administration, I think, actually hates them because they are doing things which targets them, which ruins their ability to make a living. Some of these people have been doing it some of these people are on their 3rd, 4th, and 5th generation. So I would like to know from you, if you're listening and you are a MAGA supporter, what's your solution?
Or is this great? Maybe you think this is great. It's great. Wisconsin's 16,000 soybean farmers produce almost $1.3 billion worth of soybeans every year, the 2nd largest crop in Wisconsin. This is a big deal in Wisconsin. Wisconsin farmers this year planted an estimated 2 million acres of soybeans, and now they have nowhere to sell them.
Because Argentina just got $20 billion of our money, and they lowered their prices.
To China.
To China, who President Trump spoke to / asked to, begged, however you want to frame it, said to them, please quadruple your... So here's the thing is, he knows we need to sell soybeans. He knows it's good for America, but they continue to do things that rake these farmers over the coals so they can't sell their soybeans. But he thinks if he talks to China and says, quadruple your order, they're going to listen to him at all.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. Isn't that meeting supposed to happen today or sometime this week?
That request happened a while ago.
Oh, I think there's, he said he's going to talk to President Xi this week.
Oh, yes.
To ask him about this. What really gets me, and this goes back, and we played this clip yesterday from Brooke Rollins, who is the Agriculture Secretary, talking about what an elegant solution the Trump administration has for our farmers. So we are all, as American taxpayers and importers, we are all paying for the tariffs.
Mm-hmm.
So our costs are going up, including farmers.
Correct.
They're paying for the tariffs too.
Yes.
So we're going to take the money that we are paying, we're going to give some of that back to the farmers. So they're kind of getting their own money back in a circular way.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It's an Ouroboros. It's a snake eating itself.
Yeah.
This is also the same woman who said, hey, take some of those people who are illegally on Medicaid, they're not, and put them into the fields because we are snatching away the help of these farmers who are giving jobs to migrant workers who are trying to make a living. She said, well, all those people who are illegal on Medicaid, those jobs are waiting for you on the fields. That was another solution from the Secretary of Agriculture, not your insane aunt at Thanksgiving, the Secretary of Agriculture.
In the first Trump term, his trade war with China cost U.S. agriculture $27 billion in losses. $27 billion in losses during the first go-around with Donald Trump.
And he gave the farmers a bailout in total of $16 billion when all was said and done that first term. So we're 2 terms, 2 bailouts, 2 trade wars, 2 impeachments. What else we got? There was 2 other things too. It is nothing but pain with this man. And people, and I don't understand how you think that we're winning. I don't get how you think this is good. This doesn't tighten our belt. Look, everyone can look at their budgets and say, let's cut back, let's trim, let's make efficiencies. Maybe people need to lose their jobs. That's a part of that process. But this is just, I'm just gonna say, it's mean. This is mean, and this is it's targeted and it's purposeful, and it's without remorse or without any sort of like self-reflection. You're just going to do it. And sorry.
We're going to talk to Will Westmoreland next week. We have him scheduled to join the show. He is a farmer in southwestern Missouri that we've talked to several times. And he has mentioned, too, with a lot of the farmers that he knows in that area all voted for Donald Trump.
Yeah.
And he said, I don't expect you to say you were wrong. I don't expect, he said, I just would like people to admit that they got lied to.
Yeah.
Just admit that Trump lied to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a good starting point.
And hopefully next week we will have Darren Von Ruden on the show here. There was
a reason why he
there
couldn't
was
make it.
there was an outside force. So hopefully he will be on next week. And because I want to hear from him what he's hearing from farmers in Wisconsin.
Yep.
Because this is a big deal. And I do not understand. I truly don't how people can see this happening and say this is good.
I think a lot of these farmers, unfortunately, are going to end up going into bankruptcy.
Absolutely.
And then we have these handy little things like Acre Trader that J.D. Vance is a part of and Peter Thiel is a part of, where they buy up farms that are in bankruptcy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
One wonders if there's a tie there. 855-752-4842. Jean from Eau Claire is on the line. Good morning, Jean. Thanks for joining us.
Great show as usual. You have to tune in every day. You guys got something great for the public. And this is my opinion. Trump is one of the best snake salesmen that the world has to offer.
Yep.
I have never seen such a guy that could pull people in and sell them really bad things. And the sad thing about it is, and he also reminds me of Charles Manson. He may have gotten some of his ideas, get people to fight against others.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Blame the other one. And the sad part of it is that, and what you said is, about people joining together and buy up these farms and make big bucks off it, and that's a fact.
Pennies on the dollar. Yep.
Yeah, and he's the only guy I ever seen, who made money after the World Trade Center had happened, or after we've had a recession, go up and buy the homes that everybody lost.
Yep.
Trump, in my opinion, hates America and hates Americans. And the sooner we accept this fact, one of my friends said to me once, he's trying to kill people off. And I thought, I kind of didn't go for that one. But God darn it, attacking medical care, what else can you say? So please, people, wake up. This is not Democrat, Republican. I've been an independent my entire life. This is horrible. Start loving your neighbor and start paying attention to what this guy's doing to you.
To us.
Thank you very much. Yes,
Thanks,
to
Jean.
all of
Thanks
you.
a lot, Jean.
Bye.
Thanks a lot, Jeannie. Really appreciate it. Yeah, this is bad for all of us.
Yes.
All of us.
Yep.
Little people.
Yep.
We're all kind of little people here.
Absolutely. I don't have $1 billion. I don't even have I'm barely 1,000
Well,
there at this point.
If you'd work harder and pull yourself up by your
I know. I'm
bootstraps, that
so
would be
lazy. I
different.
should get on Medicaid. I'm so lazy.
Also, if you'd only had different parents. But anyway, when we return, Halloween candy prices. Is it time for us to start handing out pickles?
I would love that.
That's on the way. You're listening to Matenaer On Air on the Civic Media Radio Network. Good morning. Welcome to Matenaer On Air. Jane Matenaer, Greg Bach, our one, our only calzone on the board, coming to you from our studio at Radio Park in Racine. You can join us, call or text at 855-752-4842. You can also leave a comment if you're watching on the live stream on Facebook, YouTube, and what used to be Twitter. If you normally listen to our show on the Civic Media app, apparently we have some cross things going on. I believe Stephanie Miller is running right now.
On WAUK.
On
as we know, yeah.
WAUK. So if you're listening on the app, that's not going to help you. But just to let you know, we are tracking it down because we're getting some texts and emails coming in wondering where our show is on the app. So we have alerted.
We're back.
Oh, we're back. Okay. All right. Good to know. Thank you, engineering, for jumping on that right away. Coming up after the 10:30 news, Milwaukee Journal Sentinel sports guru J.R. Radcliffe is going to be here to talk all things sports. Big game this afternoon. We won't talk about it. It makes Greg very upset. It's very anxious.
I'm not, yes, anxious.
You're very anxious.
I'm just, there's a lot in my brain going on right now. And I listened to JR's podcast this past week, and it did not help at all. No, because they're so learned and knowledgeable, and
doesn't that make you feel better though?
No, they weren't. They weren't saying, "Oh, we got this sewn up. It's gonna be great. We can't wait to." No, it was they were pointing out all the possibilities, and I don't want to hear. I just want a high school team to come into it, somehow beat the Padres and the Cubs, and then they go into Game 1 of the NLDS.
That's all you want?
That's all I want.
Okay.
I feel like Cubs got in 2016, and I don't care about the Padres.
Can we just do that for Greg? Is that too much to
Thank you.
Just throw the last game and give it to the Brewers. Just do that. That'd be great. Well, J.R. Radcliffe coming up in just a little bit. Are you going to do Halloween this year? Are you giving out candy? Because the tariffs and everything else going on, candy prices are now skyrocketing.
Mm-hmm.
This is from WTMJ with Merrill Hubbard has the byline, trick or treating, coming with a spooky spike in prices. Some candy store owners are jumping in. And one person said she started looking for treats last week. Bagged mixed chocolate candy, you're looking anywhere from $30 to $40.
When you said that to me before the show, I thought you were talking about, it's like a bag of artisan candy from a single shop that's, local and locally made. No, we're talking about
probably like the Snicker bites and the, Twix bites and the smaller sizes.
That is
that's a lot of $30 or $40. That's a lot for Halloween candy.
Yeah.
Inflation is a contributing factor in many things involved in the candy making process, including butter, milk, cream, and eggs.
Yeah.
So are you still going to buy candy this year to give out? 855-752-4842. Maybe you're considering an alternative.
I really liked what you said earlier in this pickles. Just drop a good old Milwaukee gherkin in there and be like, there you go, kid. That's a palate cleanser for your high-priced Snickers fun size.
I think that's an opening for me to get my house toilet papered.
Jane, if I came up to your house for trick-or-treat and
I gave you a pickle?
A pickle in the bag, I would come over the next day and be like, can I mow your lawn next summer? To me, if you gave me a pickle as a trick-or-treat treat, that's like when you find the house is giving away full-size Milky Way bars.
That's a big one.
It's a prize. You are a gem to be protected.
PJ on the live stream, hand out condiment packets from restaurants. Like Taco Bell hot sauce packets. Make great handouts.
Wow.
You must be really popular in your neighborhood.
I was going to say, you're suggesting it as in you have experience in doing this to children. They're going to TP your house.
I'm going to give out small things of pickle relish just to see what happens. 855-752-4842. Ollie from the Northwoods on the line. Good morning, Ollie. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning. Well, candy's been getting higher and higher every year for quite a while now.
Yeah.
But it is outrageous this year. I have taken to giving the small size packages of microwave popcorn and a pack of hot chocolate.
That's nice, Ollie. The microwave popcorn, that's not a bad thing.
No, that's fun.
Maybe you can buy them in bulk somewhere.
Yeah.
What's that?
Yep. I said they get enough candy, and you can buy a big box of the microwave popcorn at a certain store starting with a W, and the same with hot chocolate. So
Excellent.
It's not so bad at all.
Appreciate that, Ollie. Thank you so much. That's a great idea. Roger on the live stream says, I'm staying away from the chocolates, Tootsie Rolls, and Smarties. Have a better per piece cost.
Isn't Tootsie Roll chocolate?
Chocolate.
I'm not trying to be.
I would say Tootsie Rolls are chocolate adjacent.
Yeah. I also, for me personally, like when I would go trick-or-treating as a kid, and I feel the same way about candy jars. Like we have a candy dish here at the station, and the only thing I would ever touch is chocolate. I don't want
like those little fruit things?
I don't like the fruit things. I don't like Smarties. I don't like anything citrus based. Nothing that says it's banana tastes like banana. Just give me a little Snickers. Give me a tiny, oh my God, a Reese's peanut butter cup. Oh my God.
Sharon, our office manager, has those.
It's so hard to resist that stuff. But yeah, the Smarties, I'm like, oh, cool.
But
awesome.
for a kid.
But I would be loving
popcorn.
popcorn.
Kids would love it. Popcorn's a great
awesome.
That's a great idea. Good idea, Ollie. Appreciate that. All right, news is coming up next. And then when we return, we are talking all things sports with J.R. Radcliffe. So stay with us. You are listening to Matenaer On Air. This is the Civic Media Radio Network. We'll be right back. Good morning. Welcome back to Matenaer On Air. Jane Matenaer, Greg Bach, who's very excited. Calvin Butenhoff coming to you live from our studio at Radio Park in Racine. You can join us, call or text at 855-752-4842. Leave a comment if you're watching on the live stream on Facebook, YouTube, and what used to be Twitter. Coming up in about 15 minutes, we have This Shouldn't Be a Thing to wrap up the show. Today it is the Lost Boys edition. Stay tuned for that. It's a good one. Right now, though, he joins us every other Thursday to talk all things sports. Milwaukee Journal Sentinel sports guru, J.R. Radcliffe. Good morning, J.R. Tell Greg everything's going to be okay. Would you please?
Everything is going to be okay, Greg.
There you go.
Not because of sports, because I don't know, because I believe in you in life, and sports are going to crush us. Sports break our hearts, so that's not the thing.
I was telling Jane that I was listening to your fantastic podcast, Microbrew, as I do, because I like to listen to the experts talk. And as the experts sometimes talk, you absolutely make me feel like there's no hope in the world.
But did you hear my prediction at the end of the last episode, Greg? There was a little treat waiting.
Okay, I'll have to finish it, because honestly, at one point I'm like, I can't do it. I can't do this. I feel like
you bailed out before that good stuff.
I drive 4 minutes to work and back. I have to listen to an hour-long podcast over like 3 weeks. And by that point, a baseball podcast might as well just be like, hey, last season. So yeah, give the audience, but still listen to the podcast, because it's a really, really good podcast, Microbrew. Tell us the prediction you told your podcast fans.
Well, last year, not to pat myself too strongly on the back, but I predicted that Sal Frelick would homer in the playoffs. And that was a big deal because he'd hit 2 home runs all season. They both came in May. They were on back-to-back days. And I said, you know what? It's going to happen here in the playoffs. And then it did. So obviously I am clairvoyant and decided that I would let the fates speak to me again this year. I was open to possibly any sort of vision. And Greg, I think they're going to the World Series. This is what I shared is I think this team, I just believe it now. I have this extraterrestrial is the wrong word, this supernatural faith that came to me that I think this team can go to the World Series. I did not say that I think they're going to win. I did say I think they're going to play the Seattle Mariners. Shout out to anybody who remembers the 1969 Seattle Pilots. And it was, but you know, like the premise, The reality of it is that when you get to this point in the season, it isn't about numbers. It isn't about matchups. It isn't, I mean, it is to some degree, but it is about faith. It is about like teams just kind of getting the breaks and getting lucky. In baseball, 3 games is not enough sample to determine whether a team is better. 5 games is not enough sample. 7 is not enough sample. I mean, if you looked at the Brewers the last 7 games of the year, you would say, oh, that's not a playoff team, you know, and obviously, you know, this part of the year is about guys you weren't expecting coming up and becoming the hero. It's about, you know, just a ball bouncing under somebody's glove. Like there are so many little tiny minutia, random events that are going to come into play. At some point, the Brewers will probably have their back up against the wall, and maybe they dig out of it and maybe they don't. But there's unfortunately just not a lot to say. They have put themselves in the best position possible. They're the number 1 seed. They have a favorable matchup in terms of you don't want to face this Dodgers team that we've seen over the last month through September and then into their first round series. So they're going to have the perceptively better opponent, and you just kind of gotta go with it. You just gotta kind of ride the wave. It's hard to do, but there's nothing else you can do now. They've done the hard part. Now it's just the ride the wave part.
Kevin, find George Michael's "You Gotta Have Faith." We'll play that for
Let's
Greg
go.
and see if that makes him feel better.
It's weird. I want to get here. This is where I want us to be. And the moment we get here, I'm like, oh God, I'm gonna die inside because everything is falling apart. Because honestly, JR, they kind of went out the way they came in.
Like a lamb. Yeah.
Yes.
Very difficult to put to really wrap arms around what a baseball season is like in terms of, you know, you get to a point where, you know, you're going to be a team that has a first round bye, and maybe you're not the number 1 seed, but it's just not the same level of baseball. You don't want guys getting hurt. So you're resting William Contreras the last couple of days of the season. I don't want to say they're taking it easy or don't care, because at the end of the day, it is a matchup between a batter and a pitcher, and you want to get a hit. So like how much foot off the gas can you really get? You know, and you see all the time teams that need the win lose to the Reds needed that last win of the season, and the Brewers went and got it. You know, the Brewers played better on Sunday to get a 97th victory and a franchise record. So you can't really say that there is such a thing as like taking your foot off the gas, but it was different, right? Like September, you kind of knew where the Brewers were going. They had sort of solidified it, and they just needed a break. They had guys who were hurt. William Contreras is a great example, but Sal Frelick, I mean, everybody needed, I think, a good stretch of time to just rest. So these 5 days could not be a better thing for the Brewers. It's perfect. They weren't playing well. They're banged up. Give them this time to recuperate. And they're going to be facing a team that only has 1 day of rest, which is still a lot in baseball. I mean, that's plenty. But they have been chilling at home, relaxing, vibing, and now hopefully that's a renewal source for them, and then they can really hit the ground running when the division series begins on Saturday.
Well, and we're going to find out later on today, right, who they're going to be facing this weekend.
That's right. Yeah,
it's that Cubs game this afternoon.
Yeah, it's Padres Cubs game 3 of their wild card series. Winner moves on. Winner comes north, basically. So both games were very close. The first 2 games, both teams that won, the Cubs winning game 1, the Padres game 2. It felt like they were mostly in control. So I think anything could happen. Yu Darvish pitching for the Padres makes me a little nervous. He's got a great long track record, but he's not the pitcher he used to be. So I think if you're hoping for the Padres, that's a little tough, but I would have said the same thing when the Mets threw Jose Quintana in game 3 of the wild card series last year. And then he threw 6 shutout innings against the Brewers. So what in reality do I know? Again, there's no there's no way to predict it. It's just all small, teeny samples. I think either team is actually okay. Like I think the Brewers are okay against either one of these teams, especially with those extra days of rest. The Cubs come with the baggage of Cubs fans, coming into the stadium. We've talked about that before, and I'm sure there are plenty of people who want to avoid that, and plenty of people who just want to take it head on and show Craig Counsell the door if the Brewers are in position to do that. So I really don't think just on the field, I truly think both of those opponents, they're different in what they're good at. I think the Cubs are a slightly worse matchup, but I think at this point I feel comfortable with the Brewers facing either team.
If you're just joining us on Matenaer On Air, J.R. Radcliffe from the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel is here to talk all things sports, and we are talking, obviously, about the Brewers, who will be playing on Saturday. We're just waiting for this game later on today to find out who they're going to face off against. The one thing I heard, J.R., and I don't remember if I heard it on Pat Critlow's show or maybe with Todd, if it does end up to be the Cubs and you have tickets, please don't sell them to Cubs fans. Sell them to Brewers fans. Right.
Of course. And I think the team is actually, and this is sort of secondhand, I don't know this directly from the team, but there's language about those who bought it with a pre-sale, but those who got tickets because they have season ticket packages or just got an early shot to buy tickets. Some language that they don't want you to resell it, or you'll be penalized. You won't be able to participate in future pre-sales.
Wow.
So I don't know if that's common. I've never heard of that before, but I've had a couple, we've talked to a couple season ticket holders where I know that is some of the language. But even with that in place, I don't want anybody to get optimistic into thinking there won't be a ton of Cubs fans there. I mean, remember how, I actually just went to Kenosha a couple days ago and talked to people there. That's a very 50-50 community. A lot of Cubs fans, a lot of Brewers fans.
Thanks.
It was a very busy day. I'm so sorry, Greg. We should have hung out at the Brat Stop. That was absolutely my bad. But so I mean, it as well as anybody. It's a 50-50 split. Like there's Cubs fans all over this place.
Definitely. Yep.
And they probably bought tickets already. Like they probably bought their own tickets, like just in case. And if we'll sell them, we'll sell them to Brewers fans if we have to. So there's going to be Cubs fans there. It's going to be noisy either way. Brewers fans will come out though. Brewers fans will have their backers. It's not going to be overwhelmingly Cubs fans. That's not the place we're in right now. So I do think it'll be a fine. And hey, if it's not, the Brewers have the best road record in baseball. So they are used to playing in front of hostile crowds, and they'll be able to get it done again.
It'll just be interesting if the Cubs do win, if they start just yelling out Green Bay sucks again, because that's what they did at game 1 of the wild card. After they had beaten the Padres, they're walking through Wrigley Field and just a chant of Green Bay sucks. And I'm not kidding you. A lot of people were befuddled by this. They're like, what are you doing right now?
I don't know a lot about sports, but that is a different sport. Right.
It's a different city.
Yes. Okay.
It's a different everything.
I'm going to the experts to clarify because
you got to stay on brand. Everyone knows that. You got to stay on brand.
Speaking of Green Bay.
Oh man, can I just last week Paul Noonan said there was no way the Cowboys would win.
He did.
Do the Packers just suck, or what is going on?
It is at least a question we have to ask. I think the answer is no. I do think this is about as head scratching as it gets. And 40-40, like, you could not have convinced me after watching that defense the first 3 weeks. Speaking of small samples, not telling you enough, that they would give up 40 points to a Dallas Cowboys team that didn't have their best receiver, and quite honestly hasn't been that impressive even with their best receiver. Truly befuddling. I think, if we want to look at optimism, there's a couple things. First of all, I mean, Micah Parsons did make the play that saved the game. They were about to score a touchdown in overtime, and he made the tackle. So there's at least that. The offense figured something out. It's super confusing because the offense has been so pedestrian, I would say. And then they absolutely hit a gear here. So that's very encouraging. I mean, they should hit a gear. Dallas is not a good defense either. So, like, they should have scored 40 points. It's just this defense sort of taking a step back. I still think there's enough good personnel on that defense, and I trust Jeff Hafley as the coordinator. He has shown it over the past year plus. I think they're going to figure that out. And then it's a matter of, do you think the offense thing is sustainable? I think they still have some things to work out too. But that was actually pretty encouraging on that side of it. They don't get the loss, which is obviously still not great, but it could benefit them down the road. So at least they come through that a little bit unscathed. And they get a bye too. Like, they get a break, and it's a little early in the season for that, but you got to figure that they're gonna turn this around and go back to whatever was working those first 2 weeks. Because right now you have to ask, was that the aberration? Was the Lions and Commanders performance, was that the outlier, and they're actually a different team? And there's a lot of evidence for the first 3 weeks of the NFL season not telling you a lot. And so now we're getting into the portion of the season where you really find out what they are. So I'd say this game against the Bengals is really big. The Bengals are not good either. So if they don't show well against the Bengals, we said this about the Cowboy game too, but really after the bye, if they show poorly against the Bengals, I think you got to push the alarm bells that something is just fundamentally wrong, and we got to start exploring how to fix it.
Calvin?
Yeah, I guess my biggest takeaway and biggest frustration from the Cowboys game was, yes, 40 points is too many for the defense to be giving up, but the special teams is absolutely abysmal, and it was a problem last year too. We've had multiple field goals blocked this year. We are consistently behind in the field position game off kickoffs. The special teams is just a problem.
Agreed. And I mean, we just throw up our hands trying to figure that out. Like, there's no rhyme or reason for it. They have a great coach, or at least perceptively a great coach, who was brought in just for this, to transform that special teams unit from one of the worst in football to functional. It has not happened. It doesn't seem like the personnel doesn't matter. No one seems to be able to understand. It is enough of a weird thing, special teams, that it's really hard to grasp, why isn't this working? And I think it just comes down to players just got to make plays. They just got to figure it out and make plays. And I know it's never quite as simple as that, but this is becoming very unnerving, Calvin. It's tearing everything apart.
We are up against the clock, so we're not even going to talk about the Badgers going to Michigan. We'll just pretend that's not going to happen at all.
That's fine.
J.R. Radcliffe is the sports guru for the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. Check out his podcast. Follow him in the paper. He is fabulous and joins us every other Thursday. Thanks a lot, J.R. We will see you in a couple.
All right. See you later.
When we return, this shouldn't be a thing, the Lost Boys edition. Stay close. You're listening to Matenaer On Air on the Civic Media Radio Network. We will be right back. Good morning. Welcome back to Matenaer On Air. Jane Matenaer, Greg Bach, Sweet Cal B on the board, coming to you from our studio at Radio Park in Racine. Join us, call or text at 855-752-4842. Leave a comment if you're watching on the live stream on Facebook, YouTube, and what used to be Twitter. Just want to share this. Sue from Franklin texted in, listening on WAUK. Is the time set yet for Saturday? We got standing room only tickets for the game. The time has not yet been set.
As far as I know, yeah, no.
We do not have a time for Saturday's Brewers versus, we don't know yet. But as soon as we find out, I would imagine once that game, the Cubs and
the Padres
game is concluded later on today, we will have more on that for you, Sue. Because again, right now, we do not know what time the game will happen on Saturday, but we know that it will. Coming up for you tomorrow, we have a jam-packed Friday on the way. Lisa Schiller is going to be joining us. If you play any kind of games on your tablet or on your internet, and I know I have seen these, play this game. We will pay you.
Yeah.
We'll pay you millions and billions and trillions of dollars. Lisa Schiller from the Better Business Bureau is going to join us to talk about whether or not that's legitimate.
As well as other scams.
Yes.
You should be on that. We're coming up on holiday season, folks.
Yes. They're coming.
Yeah.
And they're already there, too. So, Also, Dan Schaefer joins us every Friday, Civic Media's political editor and the creator of the Recombobulation Area. Dan will be here in hour number 2, so I hope you can join us. It is 10:54, Calvin. That means it's time for...
This shouldn't be a thing.
If you ever find a thing you think should not be, send it in to Greg and me at janesays@civicmedia.us. JANESAYS. Jane says @civicmedia.us. You can use that address for other things. Kurt actually emailed us at Jane says, and he's going to share with me his cream of mushroom soup recipe.
Sounds tasty.
So hopefully this time it doesn't turn out gray, which is the last time. No food should be gray.
A mushroom-based gravy or sauce can be gray. It doesn't mean it's bad. I firmly disagree with you. Firmly.
Well, we'll kick that around possibly tomorrow or whenever Kurt sends me his recipe and I attempt it again. But yes, you can always reach us at janesays@civicmedia.us. Okay, here is the headline that Calvin found. Vivian Muniz and Joe Mason from 2822 News.
Wow.
Headline reads, Pennsylvania DOT workers got lost in tunnel during inspection. Relief yesterday at the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation after crews lost communication with workers who had entered into a tunnel. A small group of Pennsylvania DOT employees were making measurements, and it was just a regular tunnel inspection during in a flood tunnel. Those employees say they were working their way out when they lost cell service, and that's when someone on the outside called 911. For a while, the people in the tunnel could hear the emergency personnel on the other end, but the EMS workers could not hear their responses. Soon after, the workers were able to wade out through a creek and make it out.
So dramatic.
Chief Engineer Bonszewski says the workers were perfectly safe the whole time they were in there, but we couldn't hear them. So we took precautions to be on the safe side. You know, they walked out of the tunnel on their own. Everything was fine.
What do you do? So they weren't so much. Were they lost, or did people think they were lost?
I think people thought they were lost. He said in his 37 years at the Pennsylvania DOT, he has never seen anything like this. He's happy the story has a happy ending. We're always worried when workers are in a tunnel with no communications. That's why we brought the whole technical rescue team in. It just sounds like somebody lost their cell phone. We leave a signal.
We found you. We weren't. We're fine.
lost.
We're in a tunnel. A tunnel really just goes like in two directions, and
we were there's out and that way.
There you go.
Yes. So anyway,
what a weird thing.
Everybody's fine.
Yes.
Everybody's out. Several local EMS workers came out to help, and they say they are just grateful nothing serious happened in there. Whew. What a relief.
Yeah.
That is a good thing. And wraps up today's episode of
This Shouldn't Be a Thing.
I know a lot of us going to be watching baseball a little bit later on
I
today.
will not be watching baseball later.
You're just going to let it happen?
I'm going to let it happen and find out later because right now my stomach hurts a lot.
He's very, very emotionally invested. You're not alone.
I know.
JR said the same thing. You're in good company. There are a lot of
he's
people.
a sports guy. He gets to live around all the sports all the time. It's like the Brewers is all I have.
You'll be okay. We'll
Thank
make
you.
it through, my friend.
Oh, that's so much sarcasm.
We will make it through. Again, Lisa Schiller joining us tomorrow from the Better Business Bureau, Dan Schaefer from the Recombobulation area, and much, much more. Thank you, Greg and Calvin and all of our engineers and everyone at Civic, because without you, nothing works. And thank you, most of all, for calling and for texting and for listening and watching on the live stream.
Yes.
It means the world.
We really appreciate you.
I hope you find some joy today and you get the chance to share it. We have news coming up next. Don't forget, Tom Hartman going to have the next keyword for you in our multi-state text to win Go for the Green and Gold contest.
5 more chances.
5 more chances. Tom Hartman twice today. Then Todd Alba,
Yep.
Maggie Dawn, Pete Schwaba. Last day of the contest is tomorrow, so get it in today.
We wish you good luck. Get
Good
that
luck.
Civic Media app.
Absolutely. Keep it right here on the Civic Media Radio Network, and we will see you tomorrow.